the mayor's race. Portlanders, how's everybody feeling?
Yes, I feel like one way to think about it is like how long it's taken people to vote. Like we all agree that the turnout has been a little slower. How long it's taking people to vote is maybe a reflection of how long this cycle has felt. Like we've been through 2 Democratic nominees, numerous criminal trials, a lot of these Portland candidates, they've been running for a year or more. And I do, I don't want to be a Pollyanna, but to say like, yes, there's a lot of negative ads out there. And, with this ranked choice election in Portland, negative isn't really, it's not an effective strategy there. So, the meanest ad that we have seen in Portland is don't rank him, right? So it's like, it's kind of a no election, right? It's like, don't vote for the orange man, don't rank that man, don't vote for this tax, but it's like, so I think it's felt like a long election and it's taking people a while to get it done, but
I think that's a very important point. I wasn't convinced that the new system for the city council was going to be a success. I've been pleasantly surprised with the reactions we've seen, and you're right, they tend to be positive and focused, and the outpouring of interest really is encouraging. Now we'll see where it leads, but I think it's a very encouraging start.
Well, Andy, we talked about the climate is so different running for city council. I think we have a few photos, if we can bring them up, that it's been a little bit more congenial and people are working together because if you don't get the first place ranking, maybe you want the second place ranking.
Yeah, that we were always, Rebecca and I came up in a time/world where it was like, there's no second place. These
are the Halloween costumes from some candidates.
Second place is the first loser. Yeah, you've got an incumbent city councilor dressed like I don't know what he is.
A turtle?
Yeah. He said he's just trying to be normal, right?
Yeah. And you see two
candidates
together, right?
Yeah, so Tiffany Koyama Lane and Angelita Murillo, they're running for the same seat. You don't typically see political opponents being like, hey, let's coordinate our Halloween costumes. Let's make it about democracy. There's Loretta Smith running in District 1, Mariah Hudson in District 2. There's just it's been really cool and refreshing to see the culture amongst the candidates that there is a lot of camaraderie because hey, if this is your person, you get 5 more choices.
I feel like that's a very Portland way to do things, right?
Sure.
Like Portland's like, let's all come together. We're going to have a market of people that are going to run for office and support each other. And just one last point on it, I think it really reflects that people are interested in elections changing, right? And we saw that at a state level. We'll see what happens with Measure 117. But it's not just being engaged to run anymore. It's actually, can we change the way that we run? How do we do things differently? So Portland is, very unique, but I think that's what it's reflecting, really, is we got to do something different here.
Well, speaking of change, 2 elections pamphlets, one for the state, one for the county will do it. I think candidate numbers, what are we talking about? 19 for mayor, 98 for city council, elected using ranked choice voting. Look, we're about 45 minutes away from the first results. But who better than to explain ranked choice voting, how we're going to see the results tonight, than our own Pat Doris, who has been digging through the data, how it's going to come down, trying to show us the rounds of voting and the eliminations and all of that.
Help us understand this, Pat.
Pat. We should point out, too, we likely will not know the winner in these races tonight.
Right, and that is a big point to remember. First, let me show you the screen that we'll be using once they start posting the results. There's nothing here right now because, well, they haven't started yet. But as we pointed out, it is really important to remember that this is just going to be a snapshot tonight of who's in the lead. It's not going to be a declaration of a winner. And that's because with ranked choice voting, the next day, so tomorrow, they'll put all the ballots that came in today and some of the ballots that come in tomorrow, they'll put them in and they'll count them all over again fresh. So somebody who's leading tonight might even be knocked out tomorrow, but they won't really be knocked out until Thursday or Friday when all the ballots keep coming in. And then we're able to see who probably is the winner. So let's show you what the results are going to look like and round by round how that's going to happen. We'll use an example of just one winner, so that it would be either the mayor or the auditor. And this is how it's going to look tonight. Take a look. Here's what the results will look like. The county will release a sideways bar chart like this that allows us to look round by round at what's happened. This is just a test with made-up names. See there in the middle of the page where it says round 1? Well, this is the first counting of votes for this race. We're using this one because it's the least confusing to follow with just one winner. Up at the top, Emily has an early lead with 83,000 votes. That's 24% of all the votes that are in and counted so far. And ignore that number to the right for this round anyway. It shows how many new votes each candidate got. And since this is the first round, they all got what they got for first place votes. At the bottom, Certified Bart has only 1,000 votes. That's not good. So far, this is just like every election we've ever had. Put the names on the ballots and count the number of first place votes they get. The winner needs 50% plus 1 vote. And here, nobody's even close to it yet. So we're going to round 2. Now, this is the round where ranked choice voting starts to kick in. Remember Certified Bart there at the bottom? Since he had the fewest votes, he's knocked out. Boom, gone in the second round, defeated. But everyone who voted for him as their first pick is still in the game if they picked a second choice. In this example, everyone who voted for Bart, number 1, also voted for Certified Alice as their second choice. So we can see that her total grew from the first round, and she now has 6,500 votes. The results even give her a tiny green line there at the end to show how much her total grew. And to the right, we see she now has 2% of the vote, and in parentheses, it shows she gained 1,092 votes in this round. And in our example, nobody else gained any new votes in round 2. Sadly for Certified Alice, it's not going to be enough. Since we still don't have anyone over 50%, Alice is now defeated. And all the people who voted for her in the first round will have their vote transferred to the second choice. And all of Certified Bart's voters who picked Alice as their second choice will now have their vote moved to their third choice. On we go to round 3. Now, in round 3, we can see that Emily up at the top is starting to pick up new votes. In this round, she gained more than 1,000, and her votes now total 24% of the vote counted. Henry Harrison also picked up 3,200 votes, and Jamal Jenkins gained 1 vote. Still, nobody has 50%, so we look to the candidate with the fewest votes, that's Certified Charlie, and he is knocked out. His ballots are checked to see if his voters have a second-place pick for a candidate still in the race, or a third-place pick, or even a fourth. Some will not, and those ballots are called exhausted. They've done all the work they can, and now there's nothing more to give. They are also called inactive. And the rounds continue on that way. Let's skip ahead now to the 6th round, and we'll see it's down to just 3 candidates left. Henry Harrison, the third candidate down, has taken the lead with 37% of the vote, and we can see he picked up 25,000 votes from the last candidate who was knocked out in round 5. By the way, when the first results come out, they're going to look like this. The names will be locked in as they appeared on your ballot, so the leading vote getter will not necessarily be at the top of the page. We'll have to keep an eye on that one. Henry still does not have that 50% needed to win, so we're going into the final round. Maya Martinez is about to be knocked out, and we'll see where her votes go. And there it is. Enough of Maya's votes went to Henry, and he triumphed on the last round, winning with 52% of all the ballots cast, with a total of 158,000 votes. If we look closely, we see that more of Maya's votes actually went to Emily, but enough also went to Henry to push him over the finish line. All right, so I hope that helps. The ranked choice voting results tonight are only for the ballots that are collected actually through Monday night. They're not even counting today's for ranked choice voting. And so it's very possible the leaders will change. In fact, maybe even likely. Each day, all the ballots, as I mentioned, are going to be counted all over again as if they've never been seen. So it's possible that we could have a leader tonight who, over several days, maybe ends up getting dropped from the count as the votes shift around. That's totally normal. Now, in the meantime, I'd love to hear what you're thinking about your experience with ranked choice voting, or your thoughts about tonight and the results of the local races, or your thoughts about the race for president. Don't stew by yourself. Communicate with us. Send us an email. The address is thestory@kgw.com, or call and leave a voicemail. The phone number is 503-226-5090. I look forward